I encourage you to love your numbers. Now, many entrepreneurs are unlike me in terms of loving their numbers because finance is probably something that they want to avoid, wish to avoid, is not necessarily their level of expertise. But we can all build into that interest in our numbers if we identify on the right things. And I want to talk to you about the 7 steps to grow your revenue and your profits, and also the 12 key numbers for your marketing and your sales system. And these really are encapsulating your business to say, okay, well, what is it that I need to focus on? Now, again, in a previous video, I talked about the key numbers in your business and understanding the numbers, and we can focus on those black numbers that are within our accounts, but they're only outcomes. So let's focus on the 7 steps. The 7 steps are: create more leads, then convert more people to paying customers, then increase the number of products or services they buy in first instance when they're in buyer mode. So for example, you might package things up. Then can you increase the average sale value that you make? Can you then improve the profit margin on your delivery? And then step 6 is, can you sell more to them at a later date when they're in the advocacy and the loyalty stages of their customer journey? And then can you keep them for longer with retention focus and strategies that retain your customer for longer and improve the lifetime value of your customers? And the 7 steps really looks at a cumulative impact. So if we were to try and focus on the growth of our business and we were just to focus on one of those 7 areas and improve that by 10%, we'd see some increase. But if we was to try and increase each one of those 7 key numbers by a certain, maybe small percentage, 2%, 5%, which is achievable for all of us, I'm sure it is, the cumulative impact on your bottom line profit will be much greater than that 2 or 5% that you have. I guarantee you run the numbers for yourself. And I encourage you to think about that. 12 numbers that you need to know and track in your business and also manage these is that number of leads that you have. And then from the number of leads to the actual quotes that you convert. And then that's looking then further is your conversion rate to your sales. We talked earlier about then also focusing on your average sale value. And then we're bringing into those numbers your gross margin. Additional numbers then to think about is your total overheads and your total salaries. And by knowing this, you can then understand how you want to influence your business with that marginal gains philosophy that I talked about in terms of improving different areas. Now, you can work downwards or you can work upwards in terms of you might know, for example, where your business is right now and say, okay, well, this is what we turned over and this is what the profit came through. We know that the staff costs and the overheads were these particular values. And then we say, okay, we know how many customers we sold to. So that starts to give us our average sale value if we don't know what that is. When we work that one backwards, we say, okay, well, we know how many customers we've got. What's our conversion rate? Have we got some records that demonstrate how many leads came into the pot and where that conversion rate was at each different steps of the journey? So the leads that came in, those that went to proposal, those that went to sale. If you don't know them, then it's basically your best guess at this moment in time based on the factual numbers that you may have from your database or your gut feel. And then you can start to monitor and measure those and say, okay, well, if I think I'm converting 50% of my leads into inquiries that lead to proposal, then you can measure that factually and say, okay, well, is that the fact? And likewise, if it's 50% of proposals turned to customers, again, measuring that forward, going forward. Because the numbers you start with, it in effect tells you, okay, how many leads do I need to put in the top of the system that then basically cascades through those 12 numbers to then give us the outcome that we want. And if we're not getting the outcome we want, where are those numbers falling down? Where are we not meeting those expectations? So it gives us basically a framework in terms of the key numbers in our business to measure, monitor, and track.